All right, we are live in the crypt tonight. We're doing something a little different. As somebody who travels to a lot of cons, uh, it's a different experience when you're traveling to cons and you're setting up to different places. So we want to give vendors a chance to spotlight. And this great guy right next to me, Jaime Wright, asked me to do panels. I can't wait to do panels there. And we came up with some ideas to really, hype up this awesome event with amazing guests, but also the amazing vendors coming. Welcome, Jaime. Good to see you.
Man,
How
thanks for
long,
having me.
man? Moving and the convention. I know you've been a busy, busy man.
Yeah, very busy. You've been busy too. Where are you at this past weekend?
Last weekend I had off, but the weekend before I was in Indianapolis, and then I was at Kansas City Crypticon, and right back to work at 24-hour shifts. And we're doing some remodeling upstairs this week, and it's just one of those crazy weeks. Those bags under the eyes are no joke.
Busy,
Got
busy,
this
busy.
weekend off, and then OKC next weekend.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's looking like a good show. Good lineup to have there too.
Yeah, with Kane Hodder being there, there was one thing I wanted to show off. There's an item we're going to be having in Doomsday's Crypt by, I think, two of the top file guys. They did the Three-Eyed Demon. I think I showed you file.
Yeah.
Eric Misowitz and Morrow. They're brothers, and they do this filing stuff. And I showed you something, but I didn't get a chance to show you it put together. So I want to show this to everybody. This piece is incredibly cool. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's going to be pre-orders coming, and it starts off with this mini bust. Now, the cool thing with this mini bust is like you can change the head. It's all magnet too. Now, the hard part with the magnet on this is the chain comes. It's very very magnetized. But so I'm going to take that off for a second so we don't mess with it too much. But here's the real kicker that comes with it. Now I'm going to be real careful and pick this up here. And we got this
Wow.
guy right here busting through the door. This file and this piece in person. This is the prototype. They're going to be manufacturing. They asked my opinion on a few things and a few tweaks to add to it. And it's going to be ready for production. And I can't tell you, it's going to be on the Doomsday's Crypt tables. You'll
Man,
see it in Memphis as well.
that's one of my
And
favorite Jason looks right there too.
Kane
And
Hodder's going to
yeah,
be in
and with the way
OKC.
Kane Hodder, brought him to life and everything with the extra motions and stuff that he did, he flipped the script on Jason and completely like made it something even more raw and new.
All right, hold on a second. I'm just taking away this. I was trying to go on X too, but I needed something. I couldn't. I guess I have to have a professional account. I'm not a professional on X. I don't really use it. I was just trying to get to
Me
the
neither.
platform. It was blocking my whole screen on me. But yeah, I'll be seeing Kane in a couple of weeks in OKC at Morgan Crypt. I showed Peter Anthony, who's Roseblood, and he absolutely loves this piece. He's like, "That's the best one I've ever seen."
Yeah, I met him a few years ago and
Oh, hey, look at you! You're already dressed for the part tonight.
got him to sign my leg right
Oh,
there.
badass!
Yeah, eventually I'm gonna do a piece because Jason Takes Manhattan. I love it. And that
Yeah,
one scene, like in the beginning, where he's chasing the couple around the boat and the girl's like hiding down below, and he opens up that hatch and you get that shot like looking up at him. That's the shot that I want right there above his signature.
that was the first Friday 13th film I was able to see in the movie theater back in '89. Was it? Yeah,
Yeah,
'89. Yeah, that was a great experience. It kind of stuck with me, that movie. Friday 13th Part 6 is kind of has a special part because that was the first one I ever saw. But yeah,
yeah.
Friday 13th is such an amazing series. We need more. I love the remake, the '09 remake. Hopefully, we can get some more down the road there. But we'll see. They had the show coming that got in problems, and we kind of got stuck. But we have some great guests. We wanted to really highlight vendors and showcase them because you got an amazing, amazing guest list. You guys just look at Memphis Monster Con's guest list. Of course, my partner, my co-host on Wednesdays, the big swag Brett Wagner, who introduced you to me, and I mean Tom Matthews. I mean, you got a lot of the Return of the Living Dead. I know you have an announcement tomorrow of a really, really cool guest that I think
Yeah.
people are going to be really excited. Somebody
Somebody
was trying
unique
to
and
get it out of
just
me.
getting started doing conventions, really.
The funny thing is, somebody was asking me, I'm like, listen, I tried. He's like, because I didn't see that you had posted it. I've been so busy that you had somebody and you had the music going, and it's a musician. So they're trying to, go through the whole list. I'm like, I can't tell you, but I'll tell you this much. Jamie's got a good one coming. Another announcement, another great announcement.
Yeah,
coming.
absolutely.
So without further ado, let's get these men on here. And we're going to talk more about that, Jason. I'm going to do an upload with it, that Jason piece, but this is about these guys tonight. Reaper's Underground, and they're together. They're one company, or a branch company together. And Morgue Rot Entertainment. First, we're going to bring up the Defiler of the Crown. The Defiler of the Crown. What's going on, man?
Not much. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Doing great, man.
And next up, we got Reaper. Morgue Rot Entertainment. Reaper. Reaper's Underground. He's not a dealer, though. He promises. It's a typo. He promises.
Oh, sorry. I screwed up the thing when I was signing in. It's always saved on my StreamYard, so it's weird when I'm doing an interview and I have to type it in again. So my autocorrect screwed that up, so I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. You know what I did yesterday when I set up the room? I made it for yesterday when it was supposed to be for today, so I confused a lot of people right there. But it happened. It happened.
All good.
Not too much. But I got to give you guys, I forgot to give you guys the DK, DK and the B here. This is Steve's thing. I think, welcome to the show. Give you that crowd cheer. Standing ovation.
Appreciate you.
Tell us a little bit about you. You guys are coming to Bend at Memphis Monster Con.
Very excited about that. Very excited about that. It was actually one of the first cons that I found when I was wanting to put together a horror con tour for myself and Morgue Rot Entertainment, because since we had merged and we had some other big things in the works in the indie horror world, it made sense for my brand, my show, that was originally on my own media company, Black Flame Entertainment. I was like, John Sorrell of Morgue Rot magazine was a sponsor of mine, and I was like, if we just merge together, we can make it one big Morgue Rot universe. So we did that, and it's been magic ever since. I myself started as a podcaster for another media network, both YouTube and Facebook, and it was kind of funny because for the last 25 years, I've been a professional death metal drummer in many bands, which is where the Reaper character was built originally, was actually on stage, not in front of a camera. So when I got into podcasting, I was like, I did an interview with a band that I was in called Black Tar Superstar at the time, which was a doom metal band. Back in 2021. And when I did that interview after we got off camera, they were like, hey, you want to do a show? I'm sorry. I thought I was just promoting my album. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you do a show, man. We like your look and mannerisms and all that stuff and voice. And I'm like, well, sure. Why the hell not? So, I started Reaper's Underground. I said, well, if I'm going to do a show, I'm going to do a show that is dedicated to underground entertainment, everything that is horror, metal, sideshow, art, tattoo artists, the whole 9 yards. So I've been doing cons for the last 3 years with Villain Arts Tattoos. I don't know if you're familiar with Villain Arts Tattoo Convention. I believe they do one in Nashville, and they also do one in Missouri as well. So I was like, you know what? Since I've gotten into indie horror acting 3 years later, I was like, I'd like to try to get into some of the horror cons. I know I'm an indie actor, but I got a lot of projects under my belt. So I was like, it would be great to get out there and just meet the horror community, because they watch me 5 times a week, which what's that?
I was going to say, indie is huge. I deal with a lot of indie people, and them going to shows, they are more popular than you think. When you guys
Yeah.
are there, like, I had a few friends that are actors or actresses in the indie community, and they're amazing in the films they're doing, and the fans love them. I mean, they go there, and it even blows my mind how many people they actually know, and how many really want an autograph, want pictures with them. I think it's awesome, dude.
Oh, for sure. Even just, people watching my show before I got into acting, because I was doing some like horror modeling, like with professional photographers. I've done a number of independent, fashion magazines for like alt models, I guess is what you would call it. Because it's, anything from spooky to goth to metal style, type of shoots and whatnot. Of course, mine are all scary. So people would come up to me at the con, and I'm just like, how do you know me? How is this possible? I'm a small fish in a huge pond. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And like I said, I just started with Reaper's Underground, and now I got 5 different shows that I do a week. I do Reaper's Underground, then I do a metal show called Tracks of the Damned, and then I do a horror show which is called Carnage and Reaper's Backyard Horror Barbecue, where we discuss indie horror films each week, a different one. Sometimes we do like a top 5 list, or this past Friday we did what was it, Wolf Cop versus Werewolves Within. My brother Defiler over there got to be a guest host on that one. That was a blast. And then we do a show on Saturday nights, which is a variety show where we talk about crazy things that end up in your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, and it's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. With John and Morgue Rot magazine had been with us this whole time, I was like, shoot, man, it makes sense for us to get together because I love his magazine. I was actually on the cover of, well, what was that, 2 issues ago, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
You're bringing
it
it
was issue 7. I got it hanging right there. I had to look and see what the number was. It was issue 7. Yeah,
right. So you can pull you up on Solo. People might get a better look at it. Let me pull you up on Solo.
See if I can get it. That was issue.
Oh, very cool. Nice cover. Awesome cover.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite shoots. We shot it in a haunted house here in Nebraska. I'm here in Nebraska, so it was a great horror style kind of thing. So, John and I, we've always had metal and horror in common, and with Morgue Rot Entertainment, we're now getting into making some of our own indie films. As a matter of fact, Cody there is also a part of it. Cody, why don't you go ahead and tell a little bit about how you got into the Morgue Rot world?
Well, I went to a metal festival they was having here in Tennessee called Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest. They had it here in a little small town in Lexington. I think it was like 12 bands that played. Yep. And throughout, they had 12 bands playing, and they had vendors set up around where the stage area was. You can go shake hands with the bands, meet everybody. John was sitting off in the far back right corner, if I believe, and just had a small booth that said Morgue Rot. And at the time, I was drawing art, but I wasn't putting it out there for anybody to see. It's just my own thing. And I decided to post a picture of something I drew that, to be completely honest with you, I hate the picture that I posted. I don't like it. I looked at it so many times, I just don't. It's got thrown around here. I don't even really know where it's at. And John reacted to it, and I sent him a message, said, man, if I ever post anything you want to use in the magazine, feel free to hit me up. And then he said, well, how about this? How about you do the cover and 6 pages on the inside of it? And through the course of, I think it took about a year with everything going on, I ended up writing some interviews for him, inside the magazine. I got Mark Riddick that'll be in it. Dial Patterson wrote interviews for a really good heavy metal band from Little Rock, Arkansas called Pantheon. Then Skulldozer, I'm not for sure where they're from, but they're pretty good as well. And that's it. It's just kind of snowball from there. Then end up meeting Reaper kind of through Morgue Rot. They had the metal festival again. Reaper showed up, and it just went on from there. We ended up a few weeks ago. This is the issue that come out. That's the cover I drew there.
That's cool.
And
Nice.
Mark Riddick sent over some free some art with his interview. That's what he did there.
I like it. I like the bloody lettering on that.
So good.
That's how it came to be. Now we're planning on having our own indie horror film called The Chainsaw Sister. So that's just work in progress right now.
Chainsaw. Can't go wrong with a chainsaw for sure. And I know your buddy John from Morgue Rot wanted to be here, and he's still trying. He's having some internet issues, so big shout out, John. I know he wants to be here. We'll get him on again. You know, if we get a chance, we'll talk even more with him another time. We got a long way to go before Memphis, and we'll definitely make sure he gets a little shine too.
It don't feel like a long time. I know it is.
Well, you know, like I said, it's pretty crazy because I happened to message John when I said, John, you know, now that we're doing the Morgue Rot universe thing together, the entertainment, we should get out there and let people know what we're doing. What's up, Kyler? Good to see you, brother. It's one of our viewers every week.
I hope so. You know, if he wasn't before, he is now.
If you really want to if you really want to push Kyler's buttons, ask him about Danzig's lazy nipple, and he will tell you everything about it.
Oh, dude, I wasn't even going to mention that. So now you can be mad at Cody for that because he's the one who did it, not me.
Now you're going to be OCDing on his nipple, huh?
Well, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the front cover for Danzig's release called Skulls, and it's him way older. Obviously, with a hot chick next to him, he's got the Misfit skull paint on, and his nipples are just pointing to the ground. So it thus became the lazy nipple joke. And every time we show that to Kyler, he dies.
You have that at the click of a button every time you go live or something, huh?
I sure do.
Now I'm never going to be able to unsee it when I see that album cover again.
Oh my
I actually
goodness!
have that album too, and it's hid away in my record file just so I don't see
it. For sure. Oh, thank you, Kyler. We love you, brother.
Looking forward to people. You always get those ones who will follow you anywhere you go. That's like Michael Toth, my artist, does all that. A lot of the stuff you see, like that mustache. I don't have as much of his art, but the top layer, he does all the skateboard decks, and his mom's such a great.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I love what you. It's been crazy because I've managed to interview a lot of great people like David Howard Thornton, Brett Wagner. Also, I actually just had him on last month. Yep, Big Swag. That was just a fun interview. I've had Erie Vaughn.
You don't have a fun time with Brett as an interview. That's on you.
Yeah.
Because Brett's one of those guys there. You just hear him talking. He loves to talk about things. Such a good dude.
Yes, definitely. Big fan of his work.
I had met Brett before. I met him at a drag strip, and I didn't know that he played Leatherface at the time. And if I had knew, I would have got him to sign some shit. But I wished I would have knew then.
You can always contact Brett. Brett's one of the most available people, and even you'll see him. You'll see him. Are you going to Memphis?
Yeah, we're all three gonna be there.
Awesome.
Yep.
So you'll meet Brett there, and I think we're trying to get a show together for tomorrow. DK shooting the shiz with DK and the Schwag. Me and him do a show usually on Wednesdays, but we've been so busy. It's been crazy. I miss my dude. I miss him. Saw him a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City, but we have so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I started to put out the word there for the Memphis Monster Con, I think Reaper and Brett Wagner were the first people to like contact, and we're like, Reaper was like, hey, vendor space, where can I fit in? And, of course, Brett, he's like, hey, let me know a date, and I'm there.
Well, it's one thing to get invited to the table, and if you're able to, I mean, that's awesome. But I'm like, if I'm ever going to get myself out into that community in public like that, I was like, I don't mind being a vendor. And the fact that everything that we do here at Morgue Rot Entertainment, we have the horror art, the beautiful art that Cody does, that John does. We're a multimedia company, and I've been doing, films, such as Attack of the Corn Zombies.
Oh, Ann, one of my good friends.
Oh yeah, I love Ann. Ann and I
in Chicago.
We are friends.
Yeah, that's right. Chicago Days of the Dead. Yeah. Ann's one of my favorite. I was just talking to her today. One of my favorite people in the world.
She is amazing. Her and SJ both. SJ is like the mastermind of story, and then she comes in and gets it done. I mean, it's
really
fantastic.
He really is. That dude just spits out great idea after great idea after great idea. And they get it done. Ann is an organizer. That girl gets it done. If she says she's doing it, it gets done.
Most def. And then how I ended up, picking up more roles. A lot of indie directors, producers, and stuff like that saw how much I pushed Attack of the Corn Zombies. I mean, I was selling signed copies of DVDs. I said, hey, Ann, I don't know if anyone else is doing this, but yep, there's one right there. I was like, I do a lot of tattoo cons, and there's tons of horror fans there that, are getting horror art and stuff like that. I could be pushing this film. She's like, oh, okay, well, we'll do some kind of a, deal or whatever. And I've just been selling them left and right. I'm a promotional whore, if you will. Anything that I'm involved in, just like the Memphis Monster Con. I've been putting videos together over the last, ever since, we ended up getting in to try to promote that. We're going to be at Nashville Horror Con this weekend, Cody and I. So that's going to be a blast as well. And then we're doing Creepy Con 2 weeks later. So now I'm going to Knoxville with Cody, and we're going to have a blast there as well. It's just, I figure the more we're out there, people get to know us, they'll check out all the projects that we're doing, especially now we're about to do the Chainsaw Sisters. It was so funny because John put up a post one day and was like, we should make this a movie. And I immediately went on there. I was like, dude, obviously the poster art drew me the biggest. I was like, dude, that would just be killer. Let's do it. And the next thing
I don't know how many movies I rented back in the 80s when the horror cover was there. Now, I think a lot of these movies from the indie people have a lot more heart and passion than some of the ones that you'd pick with some badass covers back in the day. They became
absolutely
because of it.
I think that's how we all picked our entertainment back in those times. It was the VHS cover. Oh, wow. What's this? I remember that's how I found Night of the Demons, Humanoids from the Deep. It all started, when my mom showed me, I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. I saw Halloween for the first time. I think that was around 1980 or 81 when she showed me that. It just snowballed. I was hooked right there. Anything from the trauma films, which actually I'm doing a trauma film called Killer Cox in the fall. That's going to be now. I know what you're thinking. It's called.
Killer Cox. So it's definitely going to be about Killer Cox. I know it's literal. We're not talking chicken. Or maybe we are.
Chicken. It's chickens. Basically, it's a
past trauma. I grew up with them. I know they don't pull many punches on that kind of stuff.
Right. No, it's definitely about a bunch of mutated chickens that are, coming after you, and they're going to eat you alive. So I'll be doing that. And we're also doing Return of the Corn Zombies in the fall as well. So many films in the fall. It's ridiculous. But I also just got picked up for a spaghetti Western horror called Down the Long River. I'll be doing that here pretty soon as well, actually in September, in which my scene is with the great Felissa Rose. I about fell out of my chair when they said, "That's what you're doing. You're going to be in a scene with Felissa Rose." I said, "Shut up. What are you talking about?"
I'm sure you've met her on your journeys. She's really nice.
She is like the nicest people too. So, being able to do that, and that was my whole thing. I wanted to get us out there, really kind of push the Morgue Rot magazine, the brand itself, and Memphis Monster Con was the first thing I found, because when I was talking to John originally, he can't really travel too much out of the state. So I was like, well, shoot, let's see what's going on in Tennessee. And that was the first one I found. And I immediately messaged Jamie. I was like, hey, I'm in. Let's do this. And then when he approved us, oh man, it was great. Just wonderful. So we're definitely looking forward to it. It's like so many awesome guests that are going to be there as well. Heroes of all of ours. So we're just ecstatic.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure we had at least, we were hoping for maybe like 6 guests, and then it's ballooned into like 15. And I still remember I was putting out feelers and stuff, and like I sent out a message to Ken Forey's agent. Didn't think to hear anything back, and then like a couple days later, I get a phone call. It's a LA number, and I'm like, I'll answer. And I answered, like, Jamie. I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, this is Ken Forey. I was like, ugh. Yeah,
give me 10 minutes to catch my breath here.
Yeah. But he was super nice. He was like, if you need anything, get any questions, you have my phone number, get a text, whatever.
I've always heard that he's a really cool dude. Another person that actually, oddly, I ran into at Villain Arts a few months back was Robert Mukes from House of a Thousand Corpses. Such an awesome dude. He had known my wife previously because, oh, dude. That when I always think that I'm the big guy because I'm 6'2", 300 pounds. I walk up on Mukes and he's a giant, but he's a gentle giant. He was so cool.
I wouldn't want him to be mad at me because that dude is a living. I mean, he reminds me of Kevin Nash. I mean, he is that size, that big dude. And I'm not a small guy. I'm like 6 foot, and the guy dwarfs me. I mean, and I stood next to Doug Tate and Michael Bailey Smith and Brett, and they're huge, and they make me feel short. But that man is a living giant. Holy crap!
I mean, it was the first time I ever had to do one of these. Hi.
Yeah, it's like last time I was home, Brett was like, you need security. You got the biggest actors in the game.
And after talking with Brett and Robert, it's like if I ever tried to get into the LA game, there's like 200, 300 actors that are that big. So I'm like, nope, I'll stay right here in indie horror. I'm good with that. Throw me in a creature suit, paint me up. I don't care.
Brett's not no small person himself.
Nope.
I mean, I was like, holy shit. I had to look up at him. I'm like 6'2", 340, and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this.
I'm gonna be
Absolutely.
that guy that walks around in the stilt legs at these conventions, just so I can stand above those guys a little bit and look down. And be like, it ain't so good, is it?
Y'all are
It's
taller than me.
Oh, it's all good. Ken Farie's pretty tall too, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's like 6'5", I think.
6'5", about 6'5".
Ooh.
What's the thing with the guests that Jamie's bringing? I mean, I've met a lot of them, and a lot of them are probably the nicest, most down-to-earth guests. I'm speaking to Ken Ford. He's just one of those guys. And Jamie, you spoke to him on the phone. I mean, you've spoken to a lot of these people on the phone, and I've talked to you about it. You're like, man, I think, and you're very excited. What you are doing, Jamie, is amazing, especially for a first con out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody I've talked to on the phone, I mean, CJ, Felisa, everybody's been super nice, super helpful. It's been a blessing.
You got the right guests, and that goes a long way right there. A long, long way.
Yeah.
Truly, truly. And when I found the Memphis Monster Con back, when I had messaged him, I just had this feeling that it was going to be something special. And I was like, Morgue Rot's got to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Which is why I reached out to him first before anybody else. And it's, which is my birthday month, so woohoo!
Jamie and I talked about doing the show, and the first thing he said was, these guys, let's get them on first and bring them on. They'll be great. And you guys got so much to offer, and in its own way, is a guest in itself because you guys bring so much. And I love vendors like you because I try to do the same. It's very different because I do the shows and stuff. I haven't done any indie acting or anything, but you showcase you bring something different to the table. You're not bringing just punkos, which are great, and you always need those guys. But you guys bring a lot of variety. I try to do the same thing, and it makes it a lot of fun for the people that walk by, the guests that come in, not just stand in line for the celebrities to get the autographs, but you guys have that kind of deal too. So I expect you guys to be very busy and are bringing a lot from Memphis tonight. I think it's a great, being the first vendor along with, Brett being really the first guest is pretty amazing.
I was
when you start.
I was like, oh, you want to bring us on? Yeah, let's do that, man. Because, it's not very often that I get to be on the other side of the table. Usually I'm the one giving the interview. So it's a great way to promote the event and what we're bringing. Cody, why don't you go ahead and tell them some of the things that you're bringing?
I'm running from my original art. I definitely have original art. I have prints of art. I'm going to have to get another run of tapestries made. It'll either have the Morgue Rot logo, like the cover of the magazine. It'll either be exactly that, or I'll have just the cover without the logo and it just has my art on it. Tapestries, prints, original art. I have a skateboard deck that I hand painted that I might try to do some more of those for the future. This is my art logo on a shirt. I have those. They have some of my stickers in them. They have a good buddy of mine that's on YouTube named Classy Lonnie Metal. He has an amazing metal collection. I believe it's upwards of $60,000 worth of metal music. It's way on up there from what I remember. So I got stickers from them in with the shirts. The magazine will have, there's some models in it. It'll have pictures of them with it, extra pictures with it, stickers and everything like that in the bags. It was a variant blank cover. You draw your own cover of a DC magazine, DC comic. I drew called Hell Arisen. I drew my own character on it.
Nice.
The whole thing.
Open it up, you sneak a wing out. Huh?
Wraparound cover.
Yeah, it's a wraparound. That's the back where the wing's at. Then there's the front. I don't know how well you can see that, but
we can see it. Looks great. I just think it's cool when you open it with the wraparound and the wing kind of pops out. Also
with I have 16 copies of that magazine, which I'm going to be taking them to Nashville. If I have more of them with us, by the time we get to Memphis, Mark Riddick, like I said,
Oh no, we may have lost him for a second.
Freeze
Don't
frame.
worry, he'll be back. It happens.
Making a nice pose.
Yep. Usually it's like one of the most inopportune faces when you get freeze framed.
It's usually I look like my face is all scrunched up or something.
I don't know. Ever since I moved to this new house, we've had the same internet for years. Moved to this new house, and I swear it drops out 20 or 30 times a day. It never fails.
Well,
Thank you, Spectre. Right. As far as Reaper's Underground stuff that I'm going to be bringing, obviously, I have a new T-shirt design by the great Johnny Logan Harley, also known as Johnny Necro, of the Frozen Dead comics. As a matter of fact, on my wall, I can actually give you guys a look here. I told him, I said, I love your comic style. Could you draw a version of me that is half human and half skull? And I feel like he absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's now a T-shirt, and it looks amazing. So I will have that new edition available. We have some Morgue Rot Entertainment shirts also that's going to be available. Reaper's Underground stickers and a ton of art pics of yours truly, the Big Bad Devil Daddy himself, not only as the zombie from Attack of the Corn Zombies, but a lot of my model prints, as well as the films that I have coming up that I'm a part of, and I'm signing them for free. I'm not about that life. My credence to people like Brett and Robert Mukes and everybody that's going to be on the Memphis Monster Con. I mean, they have done some of the most iconic films ever. But me as a small fish in a huge pond, I don't mind signing stuff. If you want that, selfies, don't worry about it. Let's do it. We're just kind of like the fun table to come to. And we just want to meet everybody, and we're really looking forward to it. Especially since John's kind of like the horror guy from Memphis. I think that's going to be really, really good homecoming for him as well.
Extra points if you come meet us, and you can talk about metal music, because we will talk all damn day. So.
Anything at all. Shoot.
And also, you're also going to be doing a panel at the convention too. Can you do a little bit of what that might be entail?
Absolutely. And it was so great because after I told you, you said you can do all that in 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah. I feel like I've done it in so many different interviews that I've given over the time. But what we're going to be talking about is obviously what Morgue Rot Entertainment is up to. We'll be talking about our first feature length, which is going to be the Chainsaw Sisters. Obviously, I'm acting in it, and actually Cody there is making his acting debut as well in it. And we're going to also be discussing how to get into the indie horror industry. A lot of do's and don'ts. And the most important thing is how to market yourself. How to get yourself out there through social media, and getting people to notice you. And a lot about podcasting as well. So it's going to be a little bit of everything, all in 30 minutes, guaranteed.
Man.
They're doing a Domino's Pizza style, just horror, themes, metal themes. Let's bring up the drum set and set that up too. Do a little metal drum intro, the whole panel going up. You'll be good, man.
Oh man, and it's so crazy that the last time I was in Nashville, I was on tour. So I played the oldest. What was it? What was that? What were they known for? They were the oldest bar in Nashville. I think it was called like the Sweetwater or something like that. Jamie, you might know what I'm talking about if you've been to Nashville. It's kind of like a hidden gem, hole in the wall, but it's been there for like 50, 60 years, and they host a ton of killer metal shows there. A really, really awesome place. And now I'm going there, you know, as a horror actor, so that's really fun. I just put that out there.
Here's the skateboard deck. I don't know if I can get it all on there or not, but
oh man, that came out fantastic.
That's wicked. I like that. Very, very cool.
But, yeah, that's what John and I will be doing. Anytime there's a panel, it's crazy because it kind of snowballed from there. First, Nashville asked me if I would do a panel. And then CreepyCon said, would you like to be a part of a film panel with some indie guys? And I was like, well, sure. I don't know who the hell they are, but I'm always willing to talk. I love to talk about what I'm doing. So, and then, you know, Jamie asked as well, you know, to see if anyone was interested in doing it. I was like, sure, why the hell not? You know, John's like, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll put it together.
I got it. Just follow my lead. And we got this. I think you guys are going to have a great panel. I'll definitely be checking it out.
Absolutely, man. Definitely looking forward to it.
I mean, there's some great cons I got this year, but Memphis is definitely up there with the top for me. I'm really excited now. I don't want to get too excited because November is so far away, but I'm really excited for Memphis because it's going to be some great people, some great guests, some great guys like yourself, and what you guys are doing, I think, is amazing with the indie, with the music, because music and indie go so well together. I mean, being able to introduce your music to indie, getting that films on top of other things. I mean, there's so much marketing and networking that goes into the indie community. I'm sure your panels are going to be, like you said, a lot of detail of do's and don'ts and good things to do, because there is a lot of knowledge that a guy like you can share with the fans or somebody who wants to look into it. Because it is possible for anybody if you're eager enough and you're serious enough.
Absolutely. And the one thing I will be telling them is that you don't have to have a character like Reaper in order to do it. If your passion and your heart is there and you want to act in horror films, there are ways for everyone. Because, you know, you look at some of the up-and-comers that are in the indie horror end of the industry. A lot of them do have big followings, and they do other things like modeling and stuff like that. But people are like, oh, shoot, I got to get, you know, a big following and stuff like that. No, you don't. You just have to knock those doors down if that's your dream. Peter Anthony in the house. I just noticed that.
Sure. I had to put this. You missed it earlier, Peter. I showed him earlier. He absolutely loves this piece. So I'm going to lift it up slowly because I know he's been excited.
That is awesome. That is. I'm a Camp Otter fan, but my man CJ Graham, Part 6, it's got a special place in my heart. And when I found out that CJ was coming to Memphis, I was like, oh man, I feel like I've arrived.
Have you met him before? Have you met CJ?
Not yet.
He's a great guy. I've been lucky enough to meet him a few times. He was in Indianapolis and Kansas City, so I was like 2 weeks in a row, and I've met him a few times, and I met him like outside of him and like with the individuals like he's always been really nice when he's met them, and also Tom Matthews being there. Tom is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet as well.
And then I found out about the Return of the Living Dead. I was like, this just gets better and better. I would see Jamie's posts, and I'm just like, who's coming Wednesday, man? I gotta know. I'm like on my toes waiting for it. So
I'm real happy we got Joel Shepherd. A whole lot of control. and I talked to Beverly. Apparently, I was emailing back and forth with Jewel, and Beverly called her at like 6 o'clock in the morning and just was like, Memphis Monster Con, and then hung up the phone. But Return of the Living Dead's always been one of my favorite films. I mean, especially in part 2, it's like.
I mean, it had the two greatest things within that film. You had Linnea Quigley and the most famous zombie from that film. And I'm like, I mean, that was a recipe for success right there. Just awesome.
Well, the cast and the chemistry between all of them were great. Yeah.
Oh man, look at that. Hell yeah. Absolutely. I definitely got to get me one of those for sure. It needs to be in my collection.
Michael Pope just did a nice Return of the Living Dead skateboard deck. It's really sweet. I mean, it's pretty badass. I'll send it to you guys after. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jamie, but I had a few. Like, we had the poster that sold. I grew up with Farman, but Return of the Living Dead is definitely on my top. Just fun. But it does have a scary element, kind of, but it's so. I think it might even have been my first actual zombie movie. I always thought of Breathe as the first thing. I love zombies because it was even before Romero's, A Night of the Living Dead and everything. So for me, it was
more paramedics.
Breathe. That's how zombies were. That was my first introduction. I was like, oh.
I mean, it's a fantastic film to get introduced to. I started out with Night of the Living Dead, the black and white. I was always a huge fan of the black and white stuff growing up. And then finding some of like the Italian horror as well with Zombie, the great showdown between the shark and the zombie underwater. I mean, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was like, that is just phenomenal. Cody, what was your first zombie flick? What was the first one you ever saw?
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, the remake or the original?
The remake. I was a teenager when it came out. So it was kind of. I'm 32. I'll be 32 like a few days after CreepyCon. I'll be turning 32. So.
Congratulations! I'm almost half a century old, so I'll live vicariously through you, sir.
You live your 30s.
We got a long road together, Reaper, so we can live as long as you want. My introduction to horror movies was Salem's Lot. My mom was watching Salem's Lot one night, and I was a kid. I can still remember his first appearance when he popped up. It scared the hell out of me, and I hid behind a newspaper. Then after that, I loved horror ever since.
There's something
I've
about
always said.
After you're either gonna love being scared, or you're like that was just great, or you just don't want to be scared again. Oh, fantastic!
That was my favorite.
Oh,
that was my first horror movie. Fantastic.
Nice.
I went to bed that night, and that ball was following me around my entire dream. The little squish down people were following me everywhere. I was terrified, but I wanted more.
Well, I'm with Reaper, where my first introduction, my favorite that just gripped me, and there was a few if I really think about it, Gremlins and whatnot, but Halloween,
sure.
When I watched that as a kid, scared the crap out of me. And that was like the real first horror film that I was like, all right, I was almost scared to start watching it because as an 80s kid, is like 8, 9 years old. Hey, listen, this movie's so scary. And it's like, all right. Yeah. And I heard other ones like after that. So it didn't affect me quite like Halloween did. That set a total love for horror and nightmares that were pretty intense. Some rough nights, but fun nights that was like, man, I got to watch another horror movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was like, I know I come from the older generation, but man, there was nothing like Saturday mornings because you'd get up, you'd eat your cereal, Count Chocula, of course, for me. And then I would watch my cartoons, and then noon would hit, and this guy, because I'm originally from Ohio, we would watch a guy called Superhost. And Superhost was one of those, crazy little, hosts that would show anything from like low budget horror films to classics.
Kind of like,
and that's how I discovered Hammer Horror, which was like Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and all those great Dracula vampire films, Frankenstein. Boo Berry's good too. I'm not gonna lie.
Berry also. I was a Frankenstein fan, so I mean, even though I like Dracula, gotta go with Frankenberry.
Yep, absolutely. Frankenstein is actually one of the biggest influences as far as being a creature actor. That's what I aspire to be. I just always loved what he stood for. He's this huge being that he doesn't understand his emotions. He doesn't know what to do, what's right, what's wrong. But that's just, kind of like, just a characterization basically. But he was always my favorite. And then, when it comes to vampires, I had Christopher Lee, I had Bela Lugosi, and then I had Frank Langella, because my mom was a huge fan of the Frank Langella Dracula. And I was like, Christopher Lee. That's how vampires are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be romantic. They're supposed to, I'm gonna take what I want. I'm gonna do it, and that's just the way.
Eyes did it too, his eyes and voice. Christopher Lee was. It really just, man.
Absolutely.
I just love I can sit and talk horror movies all day and night, man. You start talking about the old Universal monsters and stuff. And
absolutely.
Pictures. I mean, even like back, I remember it was a big event on TV, the Return of Black Lagoon, and they had the 3D glasses out there, and we couldn't find any anywhere. We got ice cream because the place that had the glasses had ice cream, so I think it was Baskin Robbins at the time. So a lot of in the 80s. It was so different. I mean, I was born in 76. I imagine you said you're almost 50. I'm guessing between 75, 77, 78. So you were both 80s kids. We grew up in the best time to watch horror ever, the VHS times, going to the video store, picking that movie, and knowing nothing about it other than maybe a word of mouth, or you be the one who found that movie and spread the word of mouth about it.
Absolutely. And, we kind of talked about a little bit earlier how metal and horror kind of go hand in hand. I absolutely loved that documentary about metal and horror's history, because I mean that they were soundtracks, back then. If you were a metal band and you got your song, on, I mean, look at Dream Warriors, the success of Docket. With that, and so many countless others. I mean, it inspired the next 30 years of metal bands to try to get their songs, into some of these soundtracks. So, you were talking about Kane Hodder. Marilyn Manson had a song on what was that, Hatchet, the Hatchet series. I was huge on Hatchet. I love those 3 films. Definitely favorite characters that he played.
Queen of the Damned had a good metal soundtrack with it. Everybody was on it. Marilyn Manson, Wayne Static, David Draymond, lead singer Korn. I forgot his name.
Jonathan Davis.
Jonathan Davis. They all mixed it together. So, to me, that was one of the better metal soundtracks. To me, was from that movie.
Can't argue with you. You cannot argue with you on that one. That's for sure. Yeah, there's some Victor Crowley. I'll be seeing a lot of the cast. Green's gonna be there. Kane Hodder at a certain event that I'm gonna be at. Scarefest out there in Lexington, Kentucky. Great show as well. That's the last show before Memphis. Right after that is Memphis. My post, Halloween. They usually have that withdrawal that this guy Jamie over here is bringing to us in November to help us.
Thank you, Jamie.
I know everybody's still has that itch of Halloween at the beginning of November. So I'm gonna scratch it for you.
I got to tell you, me personally, it's Halloween 365, 24/7 in my house. But this just makes it all the sweeter. I think of it as kind of like an homage to that great album by Sam Hain, which is called November's Coming Fire. That's kind of how I'm looking at this con. I'm like, yeah, we're still going. We're keeping it going. You don't have to put your decorations away. Stop that. You know what I mean? And eventually there'll be one in December, hopefully. That'd be great too.
The tough part about being on the road is this is all the decorations I got now. I feel so bare down here because usually I got everything stacked up when I can. But that's where I love the vending and going into these shows and being able to display it for all these different people. I know you guys are probably the same way with all the art and all the different stuff you guys bring.
Absolutely.
I don't want to wrap it up too much. I'd love to talk to you guys for another hour, 2 hours. I love talking more. But if I don't end it in about 5 minutes, it's going to be a long day tomorrow. And I can't thank you guys enough for coming on. I'm going to let each one of you guys talk. And I know Jamie's got a big announcement tomorrow. We'll let you talk about that, Jamie, and if any updates you want to give for Memphis in the show. And any shout-outs you guys want to give, what you guys got coming up before Memphis. I'm sure you get a lot coming up and what you guys are up to. So we'll start with you, Jamie.
Another big announcement coming tomorrow. Be noon Central Time. I've already put the pin out on Facebook, so But we also have some rooms still left. This kind of room at the Holiday Inn near the venue. There's a link in our Facebook page. Just click on that, follow it through. We still have vendor spots open. We still have some artist alley still open. We've got some great vendors. Great guests. We got DK over here who's going to be running the celebrity panel. It's just my mind is booked right now with everything going on with the con. But
well, you've had so much going on with moving and this con. There's just so much to talk about, and that's what's going to be great about doing this and showcasing. Anything we forget, we got till November, and I want to bring your buddy John on. We're going to bring you guys on again. I think you guys are awesome. We'll definitely do that more. And tell us what you guys are up to. Coming up.
Cody, you want to go first? Because mine's a little bit, probably a bit longer, but go ahead, Cody.
Like I said, we have Nashville this weekend. Then 2 weeks out, we have Knoxville Creepy Con. Then we'll be doing Memphis. Then I think October, we're all going to be doing the Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival again together. And I think that's before the Memphis, right? Memphis is November, right? Yeah. Yep. So be that then Memphis Monster Con. Y'all come out and see us, hang around, talk metal, horror, whatever. Definitely want to give a shout out to Reaper and John. They kind of took me in, and I'm forever grateful for it. Keep a lookout for Morgue Rot Entertainment. We got a bunch of things coming, so.
Absolutely. Just to kind of piggyback off of that, we just filmed a couple of different sizzle reels or proof of concept for the Chainsaw Sisters this past weekend. There are plenty of photos and stuff from behind the scenes, so definitely check that out at the Chainsaw Sisters on Facebook. All you got to do is throw it in the search bar. You can find it. Definitely, if you want to check out the world of Reaper's Underground, check out my Facebook page, Reaper's Underground. All of my 5 podcasts are on there, and all past shows as well, if you want to check those out. We, like I said, Monday nights we do Tracks of the Damned. Reapers Underground kind of floats between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Actually on Wednesday nights now it's the Carnage and Reapers Horror Barbecue. So if you want to talk all things horror, definitely check that one out. And then of course the goddamn program on Saturday, which is just a fun variety show in order to have a lot of fun and laugh with us. Everything's interactive. And we love the addicts that show up every single week. It's a blast. Again, be looking for Return of the Corn Zombies, Killer Cox, just when you thought it was safe to go back to the coop, and Down the Long River. And yeah, definitely the Chainsaw Sisters as well. So that's what I have on the docket. But I'll also be at different Villain Arts tattoo conventions also in between all of the horror stuff too. So definitely check me out. I'm also on Instagram. It's easy to find me. I'm everywhere.
Great, man. Very cool. Maybe we'll get Ann to get to Memphis. I know she wants to join him. We got a few on the road, and I know Memphis is a little ways. We'll get her there. I'll push her there. Be like, Mern, you got to get here. And, yeah, I mean, if she knows you guys are going to be there, she's like, screw it, John. I don't care, but, you know. You guys are gonna be here. Reaper's going to be here. Defiler's going to be here, you know. I'm going to go hang out with them. Screw you, John. But thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Jamie, again, really excited.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank y'all for having me.
Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you. Possibly a show tomorrow. I know Brett's got a con coming up. We're trying to put something together for tomorrow night. Same time, same place, same channel. We'll see what happens. So keep your ears open for that. And until next time.
Hell yeah. Stay heavy.